On this episode, I'll be discussing two Republican candidates for president, two of the more popular candidates with the people, and two of the least popular candidates with the Republican Party. Of course, I'm talking about Ted Cruz and the Donald Trump. Today, on The Common Constitutionalist.
You're listening to The Common Constitutionalist, broadcasting from an undisclosed location, free from the prying eyes of establishment black helicopters.
Welcome back. This is The Common Constitutionalist coming at you from cloudy New England. But at least it's summer, so I ain't complaining. So, anyway, Yahoo News reported that, what did they say here? Republican presidential candidate Senator Ted Cruz did his best Donald Trump impersonation on Friday, dramatically calling out his own party leader as a liar. Oh, no. Then they go on, Yahoo News, being the liberal site that they are, they go on to explain the only reason why Cruz did it. They explain that it's almost impossible for most Republican candidates, presidential candidates, to get any airtime since Donald Trump has transformed the cable news network into his latest unavoidable Trump billboard. So on Friday, Senator Ted Cruz, Republican of Texas, hooray for him. I added that. They didn't put hooray for them. I would have dropped dead if they would have said that. But at any rate, took an unusual step to bolster his conservative credentials, as if he, out of all these candidates, needs to bolster his conservative credentials, honestly. And they go on to explain that he tried to wrestle the spotlight back into his direction by calling his own party leader a liar. That's why he called McConnell a liar, not because McConnell is a liar. He's a dirty, stinking liar. But he just did it to wrest the spotlight away from the Donald. Yeah, that's the reason. Cruz, what an underhanded guy. They continue. Cruz's message on the Senate floor was on a complicated topic of little interest except to the most hardened partisans. He accused Senate Majority Leader McConnell, Republican, Kentucky, of lying to him and other senators about offering an amendment on the controversial, among conservatives, that is, ExportImport Bank, a government agency, now dig this, a government agency that provides financing to American companies trying to send goods abroad that might not get loans from private banks. All right. I don't know who doesn't know what the Import-Export Bank is, but here's in a nutshell what the import or the Export-Import Bank is. It has nothing to do at all with tiny little companies that can't get bank loans. It has everything to do with crony corporatism, the way everything in government has to do with corny corporatism. Crony corporatism. It's, in effect, a slush fund for large corporations to not use their own money to export their goods, to send them overseas, to lobby overseas and things like that. Basically what they're doing is they're taking money from taxpayers, from the working people. They're putting the slush fund together called the Export-Import Bank, and these large corporations, multinational corporations, dip into the till rather than dipping into their own till, so it's taxpayer dollars that they're spending. And then they go about their business. And that's what it is. It's just a giant slush fund. The Republicans like it. Cruz doesn't like it. He doesn't want it. Cruz said that the one thing he trusted of his colleagues was that even if we disagree on substance, that we don't lie to each other. The majority leader looked me in the eye and looked 54 Republicans in the eye, and I cannot believe he would tell a flat-out lie. And I voted yes in the first vote, based on those assurances that he had made to each and every single one of us. So basically in fact, McConnell was a big fat liar and is a big fat liar. And he will say anything to anyone to get what he wants, period. Cruz said the establishment Republicans like McConnell are no better than Democrats like Harry Reid. And now that is a slap in the face. But it's absolutely 100% true. These guys are so far afield from the regular people, from the working people. They've just completely lost all touch, and they don't care. They want what they want. They'll do what they have to do. They'll lie to whomever they need to lie to, including their own members, to get what they want. Yet Yahoo seemed to be surprised. They said, considering Cruz said he's not interested in Republican-on-Republican violence when asked to condemn Trump's remarks disparaging undocumented immigrants from Mexico. No, he did not. He just told the truth about it, like Cruz is now. And that's the big difference. It seems to be lost on the Yahoo reporter, the fact that McConnell lied and Trump didn't lie. That's the difference. Like him, love him, hate him, despise him, whatever, Trump told the truth about the illegal immigrant problem in the United States. As many, at least Fox News, all the conservative talk show hosts have gone over the tens of thousands of illegal immigrants that have committed crimes, murders, rapes, whatever, batteries, assaults, whatever, in this country, and no one is held to account. Yahoo continued saying that the attack on McConnell Friday is just the latest example of Cruz's campaign against Republican authority. What a maverick. And that's, I guess, true, except that they didn't word it exactly right. What it shouldn't be, or what it should be, is not against Republican authority. It should be against Republican authoritarians like McConnell and his bunch. Same with Boehner and those nimrods over in Congress or in the House. They also went on to explain that in 2014, Cruz performed an absolute no-no as a Republican when he failed to back the re-election bid of fellow Texan Republican John Cornyn of Texas. And they said it was a move that has closed off to him some of the biggest wallets in the traditional fundraising destination of Dallas. But what they neglected to say is that amongst the candidates, all the candidates, Cruz to date has raised more hard money than any other candidate so far. Now, I'm not talking the soft money from corporate donors and the Chamber of Commerce and all that crap that Jeb's getting, the slush fund that Jeb's building. I'm talking about hard donation from the working people, like me and you. Assume y'all are working, that is. I don't know. Maybe y'all are sitting around collecting welfare checks, but I seriously doubt you're listening to me or any conservative if that's what you're doing. And what did Cruz get for telling the truth about the authoritarian leader, Mitch McConnell? Well, the power-hungry dirtbags in the Senate, the leadership at least. Cruz has been dropped from the Senate Armed Services Committee, at least for now anyway. McConnell is nothing but vindictive, that's for sure. But to be honest with you, that shouldn't come to a surprise to anyone who's even passively followed McConnell. He does this kind of crap all the time. If somebody votes against his will or goes or tries to go around him to get something done or whatever, he will punish them. Same with Boehner. They do the same thing. And that famous conservative website, the Huffington Post, said that the motive for boxing out Cruz isn't entirely clear. Huh? What? What do you mean it's not clear? It's clear as a bell. You don't diss McConnell. And that's he sent a message to all other senators. If you do this, you'll lose your committee membership. If you're a chairman, you'll lose your chairmanship. That's the way it works in the Senate. If you go against the Politburo, you'll be punished, period. Death on the spikes or something. And earlier this year, McConnell had joked about Cruz's threats to throw himself in front of a train to stop Obamacare. That's how serious Cruz is about stopping Obamacare. And McConnell said, the idea has some merit to it. Ha 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 ha. Very funny. You jerk. So McConnell and the boys can do whatever they want. Cruz is going to continue to pick up supporters. And he's going to be I guess what you might call the reasonable Donald Trump, the Trump with a filter. How's that? The intelligent Donald Trump. He's going to speak his mind. He's going to say what he has to say. He's going to do what's right, regardless of the consequences. He's always done that. He's never played by the rules, unless the rules are constitutional, so to speak, and right and fair. And that's the way Cruz operates. And if you don't like it, too bad. Don't vote for him. But I sure as crap am, at least so far anyway. He's my man, and he just continues to prove why he's my man.
You're listening to the Common Constitution. Let the truth be known.
So, the Donald Trump. Remember what was supposed to happen when Trump went off on John McCain? What was supposed to happen? He was supposed to have a precipitous drop in the polls. Everybody was going to hate him. Everybody was going to stand up for John McCain because he was a war hero, and that he was. I'll grant him absolute hero status as a service member, but I will grant him absolute bag of dirt status as a senator. Ever since he's been, at least ever in recent history, the guy's been nothing but a freaking nightmare for the country. But remember how everybody, all the pundit class, all the other politicians were saying, oh, don't worry, Trump's crossed the line, he's done for, that's it, you'll never see him again, he's put the nail in the coffin, all the other Nimrod things that they said. Well, all the other Nimrod things that they said haven't come true. As a matter of fact, on Friday, a YouGov.economist poll has him leading the pack with support from 28% of Republican primary voters. 28%, up from, 14, 15 or something a couple weeks ago? Something like that. He was barely leading. Now he's kicking everybody's butt. The survey, the poll, ranked Trump twice as high as the second-place finisher, Squishy Jeb Bush. Bush apparently was running at, Trump 28%, Bush 14%, Walker 13%. I don't know where my man Cruz was, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. He's in the top tier, so that's all I care about right now. And as I did a couple articles about Walker last week, and one of them was an article about a Marxist professor from, I don't know, from Vassar College or something like that, or some college maybe in Wisconsin, that was railing against how evil Scott Walker was and all his policy positions. And if I haven't really looked into Walker much, but if his policy positions were as bad, which is good for us, as this Nimrod claimed to be, I got no problem voting for Scott Walker if he gets the nod. No problem at all. Unlike people like Jeb and, whatever. But this has befuddled the major media. It's befuddled all the pundits. Oh, sure, you're going to see polls that Trump has dropped, but he hasn't dropped like a stone the way everybody predicted and the way everybody had hoped that he would. He is popular because he's tapping into the anger of America. It's not the anger of middle-aged white men. Sure, it's the anger of them. But it's the anger of all the people in the country who are sick and tired of getting the same old green eggs and ham, whatever that means. I don't know, it just came to my head. But anyway, it sounded good. From the Washington politicians. And there's just so few, you could count them on one hand, that are any good, that are constitutional conservatives in Washington anymore. And we don't need to rehash what was said. Trump said that McCain wasn't a hero, was a hero, liked guys that weren't captured, didn't mind guys that were captured, yada, 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 whatever. It's Trump basically being Trump. You know, it's interesting that you get the same people who can give Joe the genius Biden a pass on every stupid thing that he's ever said, and that's just Uncle Joe being Joe. But Trump can't be Trump. Now, don't get me wrong here, folks. I am not a Trump guy. I just like the fact that he is taking it to these people. He's not backing down. The Washington establishment is shaking, quaking in their boots over this guy. And when he first announced, they didn't think he had prayer one of garnering the support that he is. And for whatever reason, well, we know the reason, he has tapped in to the helplessness and the anger of the American people, and it is showing up in the polls. Now, do I think he's going to be the man? No, and I hope he's not going to be the man, because unless he has had a come to Jesus moment on about a dozen different things that he's been relatively liberal on over the years, and I haven't seen this come to Jesus moment. I haven't heard of it. He hasn't said anything. It's like his liberal past never existed. It's just all of a sudden he's a conservative. But for now, he's bringing all these things to bear on the Republicans, on the establishment, and the media. He's given no quarter to the media, and it's a pleasure to watch him make mincemeat out of these boneheaded reporters that have never, ever seen anything like him. It's actually very fun to watch. It's very entertaining, and that's what the people want. So much to the chagrin of the soothsayers in the pundit class that said that he would drop like a rock. Let's see. Trump's approval-disapproval numbers among veterans, is 53-42. 53 approve, 43 disapprove. Whereas McCain, who's just kind of a bystander in this whole thing, well, no, not really. He kind of started it, but, whatever. So his approval numbers among veterans is 41%. His disapproval is 49%. So veterans aren't single-issue people. I'm a veteran. I'm not a single-issue guy. Lots of veterans aren't single-issue guys. They understand. They can compartmentalize McCain's heroic and honorable service from the piece of crap that he's turned out to be in the Senate. And that's where you're seeing the approval-disapproval numbers on both McCain and Trump, is it's not the big deal that everybody made it out to be. And you all heard about the Trump deal when he went down to the Mexican border to Laredo, which is just north of the Mexican border, and is synonymous, basically, infamous for the drug lords and whatnot right over the border. It's a tough town, man. It's the Wild West. The heck, the Wild West wasn't the Wild West, but this is kind of what it is. And you, no doubt, everybody's heard that when Trump went down there, he was supposed to meet with the Border Patrol. And the news from Washington, actually it was the news from Trumpka and the AFL-CIO, who demanded that the Border Patrol not meet with Trump. Way to go, Richard Trumpka, you commie son of a blankety blank. So another lefty, John Zogby, who's supposed to be this big predictive guy for elections, the soothsayer, so to speak. I wonder if he bends spoons in his spare time or something. At any rate, he predicted after the McCain battle, he said, but let's be serious, folks. Donald Trump's rise in the poll is as predictable as his dramatic fall will be. Now, this is obviously prior to this last poll coming out. And, of course, this is wishful thinking, as he goes on to say, he, Trump that is, Zogby says, he is Kim Kardashian's rear, Paris Hilton's sex tape, and Caitlyn Jenner's transformation. No, he can't be that because we're all supposed to love, adore, and cherish that. Hooray for Caitlyn Jenner. Yeesh. All rolled into one and now dominating media attention. In short order, Donald Trump's candidacy, now this is prior to the poll coming out, will be Sarah Palin's plea for attention, oh brother, and Kate Gosselin's whatever. Yeah, whatever. Isn't that 8 is enough lady or whoever the crap that, I don't know who that is. But we are talking about the presidency of the United States, as if that's any big whoop anymore. It should be, but ever since Obama, heck, ever since Clinton, heck, ever since, holy crap, I could go all the way back to Andrew Jackson, but that's beside the point. But ever since Obama was elected, I hate to say that the presidency, not the office, but the presidency has become a worldwide joke. And the reason that Zogby concludes Trump's popularity, he says, it is called xenophobia. Oh, here we go. And the fear of the modern, that's what he said, the fear of the modern. It is the angry white man in the nation that is becoming more non-white, less heterosexual, and less reliant on either organized religion or traditional notions of patriotism. Yeah, don't you wish, brother. You'll see. You will see. And today, he continues, in this worldview is Armageddon, the worst-case scenario. He's describing, ready? A president who is a man of color, with a Muslim name, insufficient proof of his nativity, and in possession of a worldview that recognizes the limits of U.S. power in the world and a willingness to lead from behind. Holy crap on a cracker, baby. And this is what they think of the entire right. That we're all a bunch of xenophobe, heterosexual, black-hating, people of color hating, homosexual hating, everyone hating but our own whiteness. This is the way they think of the United States of America. And small wonder Obama was elected, and small wonder they still think that this guy is some sort of wonderkin or something. He is the most disastrous president in the history of the United States, and that's saying something. The fact is that Trump's popularity is stumping these people because nobody on the left or the establishment Republicans on the right, if you want to call them on the right, has any notion or capability of explaining Trump's popularity. They just don't get it. They can't get it. It's beyond them. It's beyond Washington, and that's the problem. Once you get outside the Beltway, they are utterly and completely lost. So I'm happy that Trump has garnered all this attention, that Trump is as popular as he is. I think that he'll eventually give way, hopefully, to somebody like Cruz, maybe Walker, like Bobby Jindal, those couple of guys. I don't know about Rubio. Rand Paul still scares me a little bit. Not the foreign policy stuff. It's the stuff like supporting Mitch McConnell, the bag of crap. Why would anyone in their right mind support Mitch McConnell if they didn't have some sort of backroom deal in mind? I don't know. So I'm not 100% sure of Rand Paul. Some of his policies, his economic policies, his budget policies, his flat tax is freaking unbelievable. It's fabulous. It should be adopted, whomever the eventual candidate should be. But as far as Trump concerned, I'm happy. I'm glad he's getting. He's taking the slings and arrows that everybody's throwing at him, and he's just dumping it right back at him. He's knocking off these reporters. He's shutting them down. He's shutting them up, and it's just a wonderful thing to see, and that's why he's so popular. So that's about all I got. This is the Common Constitutionalist signing off, and y'all have a great day.